Hi everyone, so today I'm doing a 3 looks 1 palette, trying to go through all my palettes in my collection, and this is one that I've decided to pull out of my collection because I haven't not touched this since I got it in December for Christmas. I feel like there's a running theme here, palettes that I got for Christmas that I haven't used. This is one of them. This is the Poison Garden palette from Nabla. Looks like that inside is actually a really gorgeous kind of theme, nothing related to gardens. What is up with that? I'd like to know a bit about why they decided to call it the Poison Garden and why they chose these colors, because I just don't feel like it corresponds to theme. I think everyone that I've watched do a review of this palette has mentioned that, and I think that is a valid comment. But yeah, I did 3 looks with this palette because I wanted to play around with it. If you want to see them, then you're gonna see them. So I got this palette for Christmas and I have not used it. I probably have swatched a few shades. Maybe I have used it once, because some of the shades do look used. Yeah, I mean, some of the shades look beautiful. Like this shade, Craving, looks gorgeous. I don't know what I want to do today. I might just go for this column. This column looks nice. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna take this shade, Zen, and put that in the crease. And I've used a different primer today. I've used the Hard Candy eyeshadow primer that Georgia gave me. Quite a nice dusty rose shade, and it is blending out quite nicely. I might add a bit of Honey, which is this matte kind of caramelly brown shade. And for some shimmer, I think I'm gonna go in with Fabric. I'm gonna try and use it without a glitter glue or sticky base and see how it goes. I'm using my Zephyr 02 brush. Really like these brushes so far. They're not super metallic. A little bit more subtle. I'm gonna put that a little bit on the inner corner as well. Okay, some lower lash line work. I'm just gonna get in with Zen. And then I want to also deepen the outer V. So I'm gonna use a deeper shade. I'm gonna use Adagio, which is a matte dark brown. It's kind of like a cool tone brown. This palette in general seems to be more on the cooler side. They're all blending out really nicely, the shades I've used so far. Going in with Zen again just to blend out the outer edge. I'm going to put whatever is remaining on the lower lash line as well. And I think that's going to be it, but you know what? I want to add a bit of sparkle. So I have this Tarte Chrome Paint in Frosé that I bought not too long ago because I wanted to try them out because everyone had been talking about them and raving about them so much. I've not yet used it. It's a rose gold shade. I'm not sure if this would work with this eye look. I'm going to take this Spectrum brush. It's a synthetic brush. It's on the center, just to add a bit of that extra shine. Everyone has raved about these chrome pots so much, and it's the first time I'm using them, and they're nice, but I don't know if I'd get more than this shade that I have. Just gonna blend it out a little bit. I think I'm gonna call it a day. I think that's good for today. Okay, so this is the final look. Say hi. Hi. Just added some liquid lipstick. I used this shade Dream Boy, I think was the shade from Mel Cosmetics. It's the first time I've ever used their liquid lipsticks. They go on really nicely, really opaque. I like the one because it's a bit longer, so I feel like you can get really good coverage in one swipe. Oh no! Oh no, what's that? Added some mascara and that's it, really. Hope you like this look. Yeah, Charlotte Tilbury. Time to go now. So yeah, that's it. I hope you like it. Really simple. I don't know, nothing revolutionary. I feel like you can probably get this look from lots of palettes. But anyway, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I have to go. So today I do want to use some of the more exciting shades in this palette, like the blues and the purples and the berry tones. And I was watching Paulina Beauty talk about, Paulina from Paulina Beauty channel. She was talking about how the blues perform particularly badly. So a little bit worried about how it's going to turn out. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Again, using that same primer from Hard Candy. I've noticed that yesterday my eyeshadow did stay on really nicely. No creasing or anything like that. Really good. I'm going to start off with Narrative, which is this matte taupe shade. Just put that into the crease. I'm going to use this Smith brush. I'm going to add that really liberally into the crease. Just give it a little bit of color. So far all the mattes that I've used have blended out really nicely, diffused really nicely. I've had no problems at all. I'm going to go in with Opera, which is this matte eggplant purple. Kind of reminds me of the purple from the Linda Hallberg palette, which is Occult. Maybe Occult is slightly lighter, I don't know. Just because I've recently used those palettes. Let's have a swatch on the hand. This is Opera. This is Occult from Linda Hallberg. You can tell this is a bit warmer. So let's try that out. Let's go in on the outer V. The color is beautiful. I do quite like these kind of eggplanty type purples. It's just a nice alternative to a matte black or matte deep brown that you usually use. Well, I usually use to deepen this area up. It's not too bad. It's not too difficult to work with at the moment. Maybe a little bit patchy. But let's just build that up and just see how it works. I'm just blending it out with that Smith brush again. It is a little bit patchy. Okay, I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna fuss around too much because I'm gonna add some metallic on top. I'm gonna use a glitter glue because I want the purple to really stand out really strongly. I'm gonna use this glitter glue from Beauty Bakery. I don't think they make this actually. I was looking at their website and they don't seem to stock this anymore. And I'm gonna go in with this Linda Hallberg brush. This is the 305 brush, synthetic packing brush on top. This is a really beautiful shade. Although I have to say none of the shades really correspond with the whole theme of the palette, Poison Garden. I just wouldn't think of this shade when I think of Poison Garden. But it is beautiful. I'm gonna take it a little bit into the inner corner as well. I'm gonna probably add something in there to highlight it. I'm gonna go back in with my Smith brush and just blend out any edges. Lower lash line, I'm gonna add Berry Bite. Beautiful berry shade, another matte. This beautiful shade, I love this shade. I'm just using a Smudger One brush from Sonia G. I actually really love this brush for lower lash work because it's, I believe this is a squirrel. It feels like squirrel. So it's super soft on that really delicate eye area. I think that looks really pretty. I've noticed I haven't got any fallout as well, which is great. I want to highlight the inner corner a little bit more, so I'm gonna add a little bit of Rosita on top of that purple. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I think this is a really beautiful purple sultry look. I really like all these shades together. I think they work really well together. So in the end, I didn't go in with any of the blues. I think I'll leave that challenge for another day because I didn't kind of want to ruin this beautiful purple eye look with problematic shades, potentially problematic shades. All of the shades I've used today were fine. The only one that gave me a little bit of trouble was Opera. It was a little bit patchy, but I think the fact that I covered it up, part of that patchiness up with Craving kind of saved it, so you can't really tell that it looks patchy, but it isn't necessarily the easiest purple to work with just because, yeah, it did look darker in some areas than others. The pigmentation isn't quite as uniform as I'd like. Craving is just such a gorgeous shade. And in general, one of my favorite shades from Nabla is a purple shade, which is Selfish. It's really, really stunning. I might just add a little bit of that actually. So this shade Selfish is one of my favorite shades from Nabla. It's a duochrome. It's got a bit of a kind of like a green gray shift to it. It is purple as well, but it looks stunning. I might just add a little bit of that, I don't know, on the center of the lid. I think the shine is just more brilliant for Selfish. I'm gonna just use my finger, just dab it on top. Yeah, I really like this shade. It's beautiful. I really like the purple scheme of this look. I think Berry Bite, seeing Paulina use that on the lower lash line, I was like, yes, that looks beautiful as a lower lash line color. Just that pop of color, kind of contrasted with the deeper, more sultry purples. And on the lips, I've got the Estee Lauder Pure Matte Envy Liquid Lip in Naked. which was a collab with Violette FR, and I think that's done. Added some earrings. I always like to wear this earring with this top. I just feel like it just matches really well. Yeah, hope you like it. I'm gonna use the blues today, so that's exciting. I do already have honey on this side of my eye because I forgot that I was filming. So I'm just taking this shade Honey with a Smith 235 brush, putting that into the crease and kind of all over the eyelid. Really, I like this shade. It's kind of gonna be my base for this look. And then we're gonna try and use those blues. I saw Paulina use those blues, and I am intimidated, to say the least, because they look really hard to use. I'm gonna use this Juvia's Place brush, and I'm gonna start with Zodiac. I've kind of got an idea of what I wanna do. I kind of wanna use this as a liner, and I also wanna use this deep blue in the outer V. Gonna see how terribly this performs, potentially. I'm gonna pat that in first. Pat it in. Just wriggle that brush around. These blues have kind of like a grayish base to it. I mean, in terms of pigmentation, there is pigmentation, but yeah, it does kind of blend out into a grayish blue. I'm gonna use a smaller brush. This is the A12 from Spectrum, just to pack that color in on the outer V. I'm gonna take that other brush that I was using before and add a bit of honey back into the crease. I don't think that looks too bad. I'm just gonna go back in with a little bit more on Spectrum brush, just pack that in so that I still have that intense navy blue. Okay, next I'm gonna actually do a liner. I'm gonna use Majorelle, and I'm wondering whether or not I should use some Inglot and make it into a gel liner, or just see how it goes. I'm gonna use it dry first and see how it goes. I'm gonna pack it on rather than blend it out, because I feel like sometimes these shades work best that way if they blend out into a weird color, so I'm not gonna do that. I don't want my makeup to look weird today because I'm going to work. There is fallout as well, so just beware. And as a liner, I don't think it looks too bad. I definitely think this would probably work better with some Duraline, but I think the pigmentation is good enough to sort of use it dry, so I'm not going to bother with that today. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it at that and just go on with a lower lash line color. I'm gonna take, again, Honey first with my smudger one brush. Then I am going to go in with a little bit of Zodiac on the outer portion of the lower lash line. Sort of connect it up to the outer V as well. Just a touch. So this is my third look from the Nabla Poison Garden palette. I like Honey. Honey was good, it gave me no problems. Zodiac, I can definitely see you have to take your time to work with it, to diffuse it, to blend it out, pack it back on where it diffuses a little bit too much into a color that doesn't look like this in the pan. But I think the end result actually looks quite nice. From what I can see, I'll have to see what it looks like on the footage, because sometimes in real life it looks fine and then you see it in the camera and it looks worse. I can definitely see how it does seem to have like a steel blue base, like it's got a grayness to this blue. So when you do blend it out, it does kind of get really, really gray at the edges. Majorelle is fine as a liner. I have noticed that over time, the shade looks a little bit darker than what it was when I first applied it. I added a bit of blue mascara. I kind of went a bit crazy. I used this Kiko Milano color mascara that my mum bought for me when she was in Italy, and just added that on the my upper lashes just to emphasize that blue and bring it out. I do actually really like a blue mascara. I haven't used a blue mascara in a very long time. I used to use it a lot when I first got into makeup, which I think it really helps. And then on the bottom lashes, just kept it with black mascara. Overall, this look is really nice. I actually really enjoy how it turned out. I can see how these blues aren't the best blues in the world to work with. You do have to be a little bit patient with them. And look, I haven't used Majorelle in the same way I've used Zodiac, so I don't know how it would work, blend it out, but I will link Paulina's channel, like her video, in the description down below so you can sort of see the problems that she came across. But as a liner packed on, it looks quite nice. On the lips, I'm wearing X from Mel Cosmetics. I like this shade. Actually, their liquid lipsticks are quite nice. They feel really comfortable on the lips and they go on really pigmented. They're not the longest lasting. You will have to apply it again, but I do really like the shades. I feel like that's what Melt does really well. While their formulas for their lipsticks aren't necessarily the absolute best, the packaging isn't the absolute best, the colors that they have are really beautiful and unique, and that's what kind of sucks me in. Okay, so it's the end of the day and I thought I'd give you a quick close-up of what's happening on my eyelids. They have faded quite a bit. It is 8 hours later. I put my makeup on around 9 and it's about 5:30 now. So let me just show you what it looks like. So there is a bit of creasing. It's pretty common with how my eye shape is. I have a lot of eyelid folds, and so when I do this, you can sort of see those lines all up there. It has kind of faded into a weird kind of grayish color. Same with the blue liner. There is fading, there is creasing. So those were the 3 looks using the Poison Garden palette. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know which one's your favorite. I have actually enjoyed all the looks that I've created with this palette. I think like the color story in here is really nice. The only shade I never used was Canvas, which is a matte kind of beige shade. I don't really go for these shades. I know a lot of people like to highlight their brow bone. That's not a step that I do. And also this one, which is Adoration. Adoration looks like one of those really problematic shades. It kind of reminds me of that shade, I think it's Prism from the Subculture palette, that I never use because it kind of creates a hard pan, and I don't feel like this shade would turn up very well in anything. And it's just, I don't know, it's just not a shade that I would ever really use, so did not bother using that. I mean, it looks nice in theory. There's something about the texture of this eyeshadow that kind of puts me off, the fact that it's really chunky. Subliminal, it's a bronze shade. Don't go for those shades all that often. But the colors I have used, I have enjoyed what they look like, the end result on the eyes. Some of the shades aren't the easiest to work with, but the majority of the mattes, I feel like Zen, Honey, Narrative, Adagio, Berry Bite worked well. The ones that were a little bit more tricky to blend out, Opera, Zodiac, used Majorelle packed on, haven't blended it out because I've seen that that's created problems, so I've just kind of avoided that. The shimmers are not bad either. They're not really super intense, but they're okay. They work definitely better with a glitter glue or sticky base or wetting your brush. I don't necessarily see myself pulling this palette all that frequently. If I did, I would probably stick with like Craving, Berry Bite, and these kind of matte shades. They're kind of the ones that I feel like worked really well. It's a nice enough palette to have. It's not life-changing or anything like that. So if you haven't got it, I don't think that you're missing out on anything. Let me know if you've got this palette and if you like it, or is it one of those palettes that's just neglected in your drawer. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my 3 looks, 1 palette. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would. Otherwise, hope to see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.